Okay, welcome. We are with David Lennon from Newcastle University, from Newcastle in the UK. And we are talking today about a very innovative program choice of study at Newcastle University. In meeting with students, I get a lot of questions about what direction to go. And a lot of students who want to do good in the world, who are not necessarily strong in the sciences, but don't know what options there are. So today I want to focus on a very out-of-the-box career path. And this discussion is really about education to industry and that direction in a very real way that your education transforms or you can easily transition from your education into industry with this degree path. So what we're talking about today is agribusiness, and Newcastle does it very well, has got one of the best, if not the best program in the world for this. So David, let's have a chat. Tell us about the agribusiness program, where it sits, what the background is that kids are needing to get into it, and what they're going to do on the other side.
Yeah, thanks. So I think the best way of describing this program is that it's a very applied business management program. So if you imagine going to a university to study a program like business management or international business management, then it's a very conceptual type of program. So you'll learn how to manage people, how to look at strategic management, how marketing looks. You'll learn about company accounts and economics. But you won't be able to speak the language of a particular industry, and it opens the doors to go into lots of different types of jobs, but you won't be able to really hit the ground running in any particular industry or organization. One of the best ways to kind of start approaching or looking at a program like agribusiness management is that it includes all of those things. So it includes things around company law and finances, human resources and marketing and strategic management. But every time you look at a case study or a site visit or have an expert speaker or do a project in collaboration with industry, you're looking at the same industry, which is the world's largest industry, which is the food industry and the food and fiber and energy chain industry. So it's a really fantastic program because you graduate with that program with a degree in business, but being able to speak the language and know about the issues and the global issues of the world's largest industry. So it's a fantastic program for all those reasons.
It's interesting because, as you said, food production, food security is very topical, and we're in Africa. The African continent has probably had the most incidents of starvation, drought, famine, but food security worldwide is very topical, and it's something, it's kind of, job security is probably quite good in the industry because everybody has to eat. So I suppose that a lot of times when students decide to go to university and you talk agribusiness, the first thing that comes to mind is that they're going to be a farmer. And that's actually not what the program is. So maybe yeah.
So often I talk about this program and I describe it, and then I reveal the name of the program after we've spent some time talking about it, because I think just seeing the agri makes people think, well, I'm going to be having dirty fingernails and I'm going to be wearing boots and out on a farm. So it's part of a suite of programs which we have at Newcastle. So we have a good school of agriculture, and to kind of to answer your very first question a little bit about whether we're unique in actually running this sort of program. So in the UK, there's a group of universities called the Russell Group, which are 24 research-intensive universities. It's kind of similar to the Ivy League in the US. And it's very rare for a Russell Group university, a research university, to do work in agriculture itself. So there are other very good universities that do agriculture, but not very many other Russell Group universities. So it's reasonably rare within the Russell Group to have a degree like this. So if you think about the food supply chain, there are elements of selling in raw materials into the food supply chain, into farmers. There are elements of food production and farm business management. There is food processing and trading of the products, commodities trading. there's working with retailers and food services and restaurants, and then there are understanding how diet and psychology works together and looking at consumer psychology and marketing. And we run programs in all of those things. So we do run programs in how to run a farm or how to run a good farm business management, but this isn't that program. This is about buying and selling and working with the businesses and organizations which serve the food supply industry. So it's very much the business end of that, and it's taught in part jointly with our business school. The thing about this is that if you're going to work in any part of that supply chain that I've just described, you have to understand the whole supply chain. So you will have to understand things like food production and how farm businesses run and how consumer psychology works, but it won't be the specialism of your degree. So it's a holistic degree because it's a very large and complex supply chain. So you'll get an understanding of that, but it is primarily a business degree. And yeah, it suits people who I think want to contribute to things like food security. So Newcastle as a university, we're very aware of the global challenges of things like food security, water security, public health, challenges of education, and then of course the environment itself is an environmental science. So we have at the university a research centre called the Global Challenges Academy, which is a multidisciplinary research centre which touches on all those things. And we do have a master's level degrees in things like food security, sustainable agriculture, water security, things like that. So it's
amazing. So it's really it's really an applied. I'm trying to kind of put it. You can't put it in a box. So I mean, I'm always trying to kind of categorize. So it really is out the box, and it's an applied degree that is very applicable across every part of the food chain, from planting to selling to consuming to, so it's very innovative. And there's also a lot of places, I suppose there's a lot of places for graduates to find themselves in the process, not only on the agriculture side, but also on the business side.
Definitely, that's one of the really nice things. So that I think sometimes people think that if they want to contribute towards global challenges and doing good in their career, they think that maybe business isn't the right way to do that. But of course, all businesses have to change to become more ethical and more sustainable, and to look at their impact on the environment and look at the impact on people. So this program does perhaps attract students who aren't scientifically minded. Traditionally people think, well, if I want to go and work in the environment, then I have to study science. You don't have to study science to have an impact on the environment, because we all have an impact on the environment. But it is a business degree. So it leaves the door open to other types of business degree, just as you might do a business degree and you might do a case study on Apple and a case study on IKEA and then a case study on Microsoft. You can go and work in any business because you're a business graduate. So this is the same. Just because you've done your case study on a wine company and a supermarket and a logistics company, you can work in any logistics company or any commercial company that has consumer research and is marketing products. So it's a degree that opens more doors than it closes. It's an applied business degree. So you're a business graduate, you'll work in any business. And it's so the format in the UK, as I'm sure most of the audience will know, the format of the UK is that an honours degree is a 3-year degree. Most of the British universities would offer a year in industry as a placement. And we've had students from the AgriBusiness degree placed for their year in industry at the New York Stock Exchange as traders on the New York Stock Exchange. So it is a business school degree, and these are business people, but they're just learning about the world's most important business. It's absolutely not matched at all. Although we do offer that if people want to.
Yeah. So it's kind of, when people think about business and people going to study business at university, you automatically think kind of BCom, capitalists, trying to make money, grow big business, which, there is that in the food industry as well, but it's kind of more of a business degree with a social conscience in a way.
Definitely. And when students are looking at which classes they want to take, So in our third year, we have classes in things like globalization, so you can look at globalization as an issue. We have a module that students can take in community and conflict in the countryside. So conflicts involving, people who live in the country, or maybe, migrant or herdsmen, and, you're now using that land for farming use, and how's that conflict resolved? So these are all issues that affect the agri-business. And yeah, absolutely, you can study that, but these are huge issues which are part of the food supply chain. So it doesn't have to be about the corporate career. You can look at the law of land use, look at agricultural economics and how developing economies and rural economies run. Or you can look at company accounts and being working on the money side, or you can use this degree to specialize in things like food production if you want to take those classes. So it's a very varied and multidisciplinary program, because the food supply industry is a very multidisciplinary industry, and the program reflects that.
It's really exciting. I just see, like, as you're talking, I've got light bulbs going on in my head about students who I've sat down to talk to, who really, they're not that strong in the sciences, but they are very socially conscious, I don't know how you even say that, have a big social conscience, want to do good for the world, want to participate. And I think this is just, it's so interesting. I've just kind of made notes here. It's such an incredible pathway to include everything from the psychology end to the business end. So you're getting soft sciences, everything in between. Let me just ask you, I've just made a couple of notes. When you have students who are, do you have an advanced degree in agribusiness or just BSc honors?
So the advanced degrees, the master's degrees, we have a big business school, and you can look at specialist topics within business. And we have an agriculture school, so you can start to look at issues around food security. So we have a master's degree, which is food security and sustainable agriculture. And then you can.
And is that in the business school or in the school? That's in the agriculture.
That's in the agriculture school. Yeah.
Okay.
So you can start to look at things around food economics and how, looking at food security within communities and things like that.
So do a lot of the students who come out of the agribusiness degree, how many of them end up studying further, or do a lot of them end up going directly, like what are their job placements like? They do a work placement during their honors degree.
So there's an optional work placement. So in the UK, we have an honors degree as a 3-year program, and students graduate within 3 years, and they're honors graduates, and that's how they finish. Most British universities will offer a placement year. So the 3-year degree becomes a 4-year degree. So in between the second and third year of teaching, there's a placement year. And some students choose to take the opportunity to do that. It's more that students might have an interest to do that than worrying about their employability. So, Newcastle University's, it is one of the top universities in the UK. We are targeted by employers, so employers will come to campus to hold job fairs to try and attract our students. So in the kind of supply-demand dynamic, the graduates are in demand rather than going off to try and hunt for jobs. And a lot of companies will do things like offer placements because they want to cherry pick our best graduates by offering them a placement before employing them at the end of the degree. We work with a lot of industry partners who will come in and do things like brief student projects with us. So they'll say, can we come and work with a group of
students? Oh, wow.
We have, in the business school particularly, we have advisory panels. So we have industry collaborators will come and sit down with us and help us to work out the curriculum of what we should teach. So we might get IBM into the room and we'll say to them, what would you like to see in a university graduate? And they'll say, well, these are, as you described it, the hard skills and the soft skills, and we want them to be good at team working and presentations and things, as well as having specialist knowledge. And that's what we teach. And so IBM know that if they get a Newcastle graduate, then they're going to have everything that they want in a graduate. So some universities will talk about getting you out on placement as a way of guaranteeing your employability. But universities like ours will say, actually, it's the other way around. The companies are trying to get in the room with us because they want to find ways of getting our graduates, because we're a very high-profile university.
That's brilliant. So what is the percentage of graduates who are employed upon graduation? I assume it's quite high.
Oh, it's above 90%. Yeah, it's above 90%. Would be employed or engaged in further study, like you say, I've gone into a master's program or something. Yeah, for this program, it's above 90%.
That's brilliant. Yeah. That's brilliant. Let me see if is there anything that we haven't covered? Is there anything else because I've kind of looked at my list of questions here, but I think I've asked everything that I wanted to ask about. Is there anything else that you want to add about the degree path?
Not really. I mean, I think that it is an unusual degree in the type of degrees that universities tend to offer, but it is primarily one based on industry, and a need that's not going to go away, as far as food. and it lends itself to a whole range of things. So you could end up in food marketing, in managing procurement, or like in a supermarket supply chain. But yeah, it does suit students who want a varied career. It's an international supply chain. So if students want a career where they're going to be able to travel, live in different places, or work for a big company that's going to post them off to different places, it's a great degree for things like that. It doesn't really close any doors.
So like we always talk to the students now about the fact that they do need to have a global career, because that's the way of the future. And especially now with us not being able to travel, we're doing a lot more of this kind of thing. So being global, being flexible, we talk about kids, study something that's flexible, that you can, go into different areas, which this clearly satisfies that. And also to study something that will give you a range of skills. And this clearly does that as well. So as far as trying to find a degree path that satisfies what our kids, my kids, not your kids yet, but my kids who are at university, that's what you always preach to them, is to do something that's global, that's flexible, that will give you the most amount of skills. And this ticks all the boxes.
Definitely, yeah. I mean, there's no career these days that isn't global. And I think one of the things, if I remember, when I was at school, I thought that I would pick a career and I would go with it, and that would be me until I retired. But that's not really the reality now. And people do change careers, and you have to have an agile career, and things change. There are game changers, and whole industries can change. So you have to choose a program at university which is primarily something you enjoy and leads to positive outcome. If you've got ideas of some people do say, I want a career where I'm going to earn a lot of money, and that's absolutely fine. And some people say, I want a career where I'm going to help I'm going to help people. And some people say, I want a career where I'm going to have a positive impact on the environment. And just having an idea of what you want to kind of achieve in life is much better than saying, I would like to study chemistry because that's my favorite subject at school. And this program is a great thing, because if you have an idea, because it probably contributes to all of those things, you can have a career in commerce and go and work in a big multinational company and have a big corporate career. Or you can, we have a lot of students who would use this degree. We have had students who've used this degree to set up new businesses in the green economy. So one of the areas of research that we do at Newcastle is in things like generating energy from solid waste. So if you've got food waste, which is kind of sitting in landfill and just, bacteria is decaying it. Yeah. So looking at coatings that you can apply to that, where you've got that chemical reaction that's going on as part of the decay and the oxidation process, but can you draw an electric current from that if you treat it in the right way. You can spray it with something and then you can actually generate energy from that. Wouldn't that be fantastic? Or we've got people who do things around biogas. So looking at supermarkets or restaurants or food services industry, we've got waste food products. Can you take that and, you know, you get these big rollers that squeeze the food out of the containers, and then you get this big mulch, and then you put that in a fermenter, and then you get gas off that. You can, and these are all businesses that our students have done, or areas of interest that our students have been into, which are agribusiness people. Well, there's a business idea in that. You know, there's a big landfill over there, and it's oxidizing, it's creating all this gas, and there's all these chemical reactions over there. Like that, you know, we can make some money out of that, and it'll do good for the environment as well. And this degree brings those sort of things together. Yeah, it is the future. There is no business now which is not looking at ways that it can become more sustainable.
Yes.
And nothing more than the food supply industry. And yeah, particularly in Africa, where things like post-harvest loss are huge, and looking at things like the logistics and the supply chain, the transport and storage of food, really need modern business practices to take a look at that as well. Yeah. So it's somewhere where you can really make a positive impact and have you know, a rewarding, financially rewarding career as well if you want one.
Yeah. Fantastic. David, thanks so much for being willing to discuss this with me today, because I think it's really opened my eyes a lot, and will certainly be able to direct a lot of students to have a look at it, because it's a fantastic way to combine everything across the board, your flexibility, skills, you know, social conscience. It's really fantastic and very creative, innovative degree path. So thank you very much. Okay.
I enjoyed it. Yeah, thank you.
Thanks. Keep well. So we're saying goodbye to David from Newcastle University in the UK. We'll see you guys soon.